Hey there, everyone. So, this will be a combat feedback build, meaning I would like everybody who's going to play it to give it a good run, and I welcome all and any feedback you may have pertaining to the battle system or the interface or basically anything that's in this build. When you open the game, I would request that you please play it in the windowed mode. Don't try to full screen. The UI resolution hasn't been set up for full screen mode, but let's hop right in. So the controls on the main screen are basically the same. You use WASD or on a controller, just the control stick to move around. The I key opens up the interface now, or the action menu. It's Y on a controller. Um, this is basically the same. I recommend when you start the game to go to Equip, select your captain's items and equip them. You'll see on the left-hand side here, this should actually say RP, but just pretend it says RP for right now. Items increase your captain's HP and their RP, which is rush points. And in battle, you'll see that our captain has his own abilities, and if I go to this item, it will say what this item grants as far as abilities go. So when I equip this old loot, I get an ability that restores 75% of the target's maximum SP, which is skill points, or like Grog revives the target with 50% of their maximum HP. And what this is also doing, you can see over here, is it's raising my HP by 3 points. And then the old loot, I think, raises by 3 points as well. The Cutlass weapons for your captain don't cost any rush points to use. They're always free, and it always does a flat damage, so the Cutlass does 5 damage. So let's hop into a battle here. So the numbers on the screen represent how many enemies you're going to fight, just so this is a somewhat controlled environment. So let's just fight one enemy right now. So this is the battle screen. At the bottom is just your lone captain. The RP is rush points, as I was saying before. HP is his health. When your captain's health reaches 0, the game would be over. Right now that's not set up, so it'll just keep going down and down and down. And I didn't want to have to restart the game or anything. But basically when your captain reaches 0 HP, you're dead. And every time an enemy attacks your captain, they do 1 hit point of damage. Now, how do we stop that from happening so we don't die? We can do 2 things right now. We can either use a captain skill, so we could use a Cutlass. We could use we can't use the old loot or Grog because we don't have enough rush points. And how you gain rush points is when your crew gets hit, your crew attacks an enemy, or if an enemy straight up attacks your captain. But instead, let's try to recruit this crewman. So in the normal game, there's a percentage you'll see right here, and that's based on your chance of recruiting that pirate. Now, the more damage the pirate takes, the higher this percentage will go, and that's your chance of catching them. Right now, I've made it so there's a 100% chance to always capture and recruit pirates, just so the game is more enjoyable and you have more of a chance to experiment more of it rather than just trying to catch pirates over and over again. So even though it says 0%, there's actually a 100% chance. So let's go ahead and capture him. So we recruited a pirate, and now we're at the naming screen. So it's asking you to name your pirate. You can name it whatever you want. You could do like, oops, or whatever in backspace. There's a space key right next to the Z. If you don't really care, you can hit this don't care button, and there's like a list. I think there's probably 40 names right now that it will go through. And you can choose a random name. Alright, so now we have one crew member. So if we go to status, we can see what our crew member is. So his name is Bildrat. Does a little representation of what he'll look like in battle, how much XP he needs for the next level, which characters can't level up right now, but his current XP, his power points, or skill points. This needs to be changed, but this is skill points, health points, his stats, a little representation of his guy. If we hit the X button on the controller or the J button on the keyboard, we can activate this guy as an active crewman, and you can have up to 3 active crewmen in battle at any time. So when it's green, that means he's active. When it's gray, it means he's not. So let's back out, go into another battle. So now you see we have a crewman in front of us who will take all incoming damage. So the enemy pirate won't attack our pirate now. We can see down here we have our captain, and then we have our new crewman. Let's just fill out our crew here, so let's recruit some more guys. I'll get one more. So let's say we have, so if we go into status here, we can see we have 3 crew. Now let's say we go into battle and we forget to activate our new crew. So let's say we go into battle with 2 enemies, and we're like, oh crap, we only have 1 crew member out. What we can do is we can go to crew, which is a familiar screen by now, and we can select them and activate them, and there they are, they're in front of us. Now crew doesn't take an action at all. You can do it for free. It doesn't use your turn. This allows the player to do some interesting things when on their turn they can basically have access to all 6 of their crew at any time. They can switch them out. They don't have to worry about, I have to wait this turn, bringing out new crew, and then having that crew be attacked the next round. They can set up the crew on their turn however they want. Now, the sort of catch here is the crew that you have active once your turn goes will be the crew that's going to take damage. So that's the sort of trade-off you have to think of, is what crew is going to be protecting my captain here. So let's say we want our crew to attack. We go to orders, and see we have your 3 crew here, and it highlights both the crew that I've selected. You can see it over here, which guy I see. Boop, boop. And then down below it also shows which crew member you currently have acted, as well as their name up here. So we'll choose like Bildrat, and then we select the pirate. So now your turn only combat only goes and resolves as soon as you have all your crew doing something. Now if I were to back out, we'll see that the orders have reset, because on your turn you can basically do one of 2 things. You can either give orders to your entire crew, or you can use a captain ability. You can also recruit or flee, which also takes a turn, but to have battle resolve, you have to do one of these 2 things. So you couldn't, say, attack with your captain and give orders to your crew. You can only do one or the other. So let's just attack with all these guys. So now you'll see that the skill points have gone down by 1 for each guy, as well as some of our guys have taken damage. Now, you'll see that these are your crew's active abilities per crew member. So you'll see /1 SP, which means it costs 1 skill point to use /, and they all have / currently. Let's say, however, we wanted to restore Anne's health, since she's at 6. What we can do is go to loot, and see we have a bunch of items here. We have like bandages, which restore health, bananas, which restore SP, and swill, which revives a crew member, which we'll get to in a bit later. Let's say we want to use a bandage, though. We'll use it on Anne, and Anne restores 4. Now, using an item doesn't use your turn up, so you can basically use all your items on your entire crew without worrying about it. Now, the reason I have done this is because you have a fixed inventory. There's no stacking of items. You only have 14 slots of inventory space. So, although you could use every item in your inventory on your turn, that's it for your inventory. It's not like you can have 99 bandages in your inventory. So it really allows you to make good use of your inventory and choose what sort of items you want to carry around with you. So Anne now has 10 HP. Let's attack again. This Pirate A. Now Pirate A was defeated. So as you see, the RP, our rush points on our captain, have been going up. So how rush works is, we've been taking damage and giving damage, and it's been going up. And there's a max, a cap, basically. It initially starts at 20 right now, but we equipped that old loot, which makes us increased it by 3, so it can go up to 23. And once it reaches 23, it stops going up, and it essentially any additional rush we gain from then on is wasted. So we would want to use our captain abilities to make good use of it. Now there's captain abilities that are not just supportive, like the ones I have now are just restoring SP or reviving a crew member, which is very useful later on. There will also be abilities where we could attack an entire line of enemies. So you could attack like these 3 guys, like a row, or the back row, or a horizontal row, like the bottom row, the middle row, or the top row. There's abilities that attack all enemies and such like that. But let's just use a cutlass so we can use the captain ability here. So there you go. So he killed the guy. When on the weapon screen it said it did 5 damage, but it basically does like around 5 damage. There's sort of a small amount of plus and minus to the attacks. So we've won. We found 2 gold. So experience is based on how many actions that crew member took. So you'll see that like Bilge Rat and Anne earned 2 experience, and Red Jack earned 3. That's because he attacked 3 times and they only attacked twice. So let's hop into a battle with 3 guys here. So this is a bug I just see happening, but the rush points should reset to 0 upon entering a new combat. I'm unsure right now because I'm playing a build if this is just a visual change and it's actually 0 behind the scenes, which is what I'm guessing happened, and the counter just didn't reset. But just be aware of that. So since I selected all my all my crew to attack 1 guy, and now he's dead, the rest of their turns since they were going to attack him are forfeit. So you have to be careful about who you're attacking to not waste your turns. So like Bilge Rat had already gone, so now Red Jack and Anne have nobody to attack, so their turns won't happen, and the enemies will just go, and then it will reset. Okay. So you'll see now that Anne has 0 HP and she's turned red, which means she's wounded. We can actually see if we go into a crew, we go over to her, that it says she's wounded. Now, what does this mean? This means that, first of all, she can't act. We can't select her in battle. It also means that the enemies will not target her. She's basically out of battle right now. So there's a few things we can do to help her out. We could use an item like the Swill, which restores 1%, or maybe it's 10%. It's a small amount of health and revives them. We could also use a captain ability like Grog that would lift them up and restore, I believe Grog is 50% of their health, and that would revive them. There are also crew abilities that I don't have equipped, which we can equip after this battle, where they also can revive somebody, but it costs a lot of SP. I believe the cost for reviving somebody is 10. So right now, even if they had it equipped, none of my crew would be able to revive in battle right now. So let's use Grog, for example, and we'll use it on Anne. There you go. So she was restored 6. Oh, now Bildrat is wounded. So let's say we want to get out of here because my crew is dying. Let's try to flee. So we got out of battle. Oh, it looks like... There we go. So the game, there's a couple bugs. I just had one where the game was paused and it wouldn't let me move. So if that happens, just go into the action menu and then close out. I also see a bug happening with the action menu where there's like you can see that ship was flashing even though I wasn't on it. There's a handful of bugs throughout the game. It shouldn't stop you from playing, but just be aware that there are bugs. There are bugs. So let's see. So here's another bug I just see happening. If I can not get killed before I flee. So right now it seems like when I'm fleeing... Oh no, this might be the end of me. When I'm fleeing, it's not properly activating what happens when you have a character be wounded. And I'll show you what it's supposed to happen. So... usually what happens is this. You've finished a battle, and then you'll see there's a crewman on the ground. So that means there's a crewman wounded. Now what I can do is if I move away from them, you'll get a prompt saying, traveling further will leave this crew behind. So if I were to walk any further than I was, the crewmen would be dead, and they'll be permadead, and I won't be able to have them anymore. But since I don't want that to happen, what I'm going to want to do is go in and try to revive some of them. So unfortunately I only have 2 swills, so I'll use one on Bildrat, so he's alive with 1 HP. And then let's say I want to use a crew ability to revive Redjack. So I restore a couple skill points to Bildrat, I go into skills, and I see that he has an ability called Revive. So I'll use this on Redjack, so he's alive now. And I can also equip these, so like I can equip these for battle. Same thing with Redjack here. So now they'll have him in battle. But let's say we've decided to, let's use Mend. There you go, so Redjack was healed. And then I think we have some bandages, we can heal up. So let's say we decide we don't want to use any items and we're just going to leave Anne behind. So we move outside of this area here, and then Anne becomes a tombstone, and now you'll see she's gone from our crew forever. She's dead to the world. And that's honestly pretty much it that you need to know about combat. Like I said, there's a few bugs. Flee doesn't seem to be queuing up the wound state, so I would try to avoid using Flee if possible at this point. There are some bugs. You saw when I was trying to revive somebody in battle with the captain, it took a couple clicks to get the revive ability to work on Anne. I would appreciate any bugs you find, you write down so I can get on them right away and get them fixed. And like I said, any feedback you have would be extremely welcome. And I hope you enjoy playing. Oh, something else that's worth mentioning. So I have 4 crew now. You'll see at the bottom here. Crew is based on it's like the 3 active guys. So like right now I only have 2, but I have 4 guys I can choose from. So I could choose. Oh, okay. So here's a bug too. It looks like since Anne was active when I lost her, the game is still thinking that I have 3 active crew, so it's only letting me choose 2. So that's a bug to be aware of as well. Yeah, see, it's not letting me choose a 3rd guy, unfortunately. So that's something to be aware of, and I'll fix that in the next build. But it shouldn't hamper your at least initial gameplay experience. And if you run into any of these kind of bugs, while playing, you can just restart the game and everything will be set back to new. I apologize for all the issues you may have, but anyways, I hope you enjoy. Take care.